Hi everyone, my name is Rego, and in this video I'll explain lathe cut vinyl, play some recordings of lathe cut audio, and then I'll review some popular lathe cut services out there for having your own records made. So, what are lathe cut records? You can find plenty of detailed descriptions online, but here's a short summary. Making a record starts with a machine called a lathe, which etches a recording onto a metal disc called a lacquer. That disc is then pressed against another plate called a stamp, and with that, you can stamp out hundreds or thousands of records. But with lathe cut vinyl, you're only doing the first step. You're etching the recording directly onto a playable record, not a metal disc. Typically, what you get, at least what I'm finding, is you'll hear something quieter and shorter in length per side than what can be made at a professional plant. I'm not sure why, but you probably need to space out the grooves more when cutting directly onto a vinyl disc, as opposed to a metal one. Choosing a lathe cut service. There's a growing number of services out there, but many are businesses that act as middlemen for your orders. You'll find a lot of these on Etsy, and I didn't bother with those, I went directly to the source. Now what I ultimately wanted was for a record that looked and sounded like pressed vinyl, something that wouldn't stick out like a sore thumb in my record collection. So I cared about full color labels and sleeves, preferring full jackets with a spine, like this, over ones that are foldovers, like this, that can't hold the record without an outer plastic sleeve. So that weeded out a few services like Kunaki and New York Lathe Cuts. I didn't care much about vinyl color since my record collection is almost all black vinyl anyway, but you'll find a lot of options for white and clear and colored vinyl out there. And last but not least, I cared about audio quality, which weeded out services like Meep Records that only cut in mono. So in the end, I tried 3 services: One Groove, Little Elephant, and Tangible Formats. I ordered a mix of 12 inches and 7 inches, and I assessed each one based on the quality of service, price, artwork, and of course the sound. So let's go through the reviews. One Groove. I discovered One Groove when searching online. They're not as well known, but their lower prices and full 7-inch sleeve caught my attention. Service, 1 star. Their service was non-existent. When you submit your project and upload your files, you get a confirmation email that tells you nothing about when to expect delivery. Their website had some general estimates. And that's the only correspondence you'll get until it actually ships. As time passed, I tried reaching out to get an ETA. Their website and email provided a few ways to contact them: email, an online form, even a phone number. Eventually, I tried all 3 modes of communication and got no reply from any of them. When the original estimated time had passed with no delivery, I started to wonder if this was a scam, but eventually the record showed up. So in conclusion, if you need correspondence for whatever reason, don't bother with One Groove. Price, 5 stars. Prices may have changed since I used their service in 2021, but One Groove was by far the cheapest option for single pressings among the 3 services I tried. $25 for a 7-inch, $67 for a 12-inch, and these are for single records with full color labels and jackets. When I say artwork, I'm including both the jacket and the label. And for One Groove, I gave it 2 stars out of 5. Let's start with the jacket, because that was one of the reasons I tried out One Groove in the first place. They were the only service of the 3 that offered a full 7-inch jacket with glued edges, as opposed to a foldover. That being said, it had a home printer look to it, little grayed out, kind of not very high in the contrast, and the glued edges were warped. There were also bits of glue sticking out that I went over with an X-Acto blade to smooth out. Now let's talk about the label. Where to start with this one? If it isn't obvious holding it up here, let me hold another record next to it. The oversized label was a bit of a letdown for me. Even if you don't mind the difference, if you play it on an automatic turntable, the tone arm will sit forever at the runoff groove because it doesn't get close to the center. Now, side difference aside, the quality of the color label itself was a bit off. Not only does it look like it was done on a home printer, just like the jacket, but one of the sides had some ink issues. As you can see, part of the color here is missing, so a quality control issue as well. Audio, 3 stars out of 5. The stereo panning was fully preserved, the frequency range was full, even the loudness was not bad. but it was also the noisiest record. Here's a recording of the original audio I submitted to them and a recording of the record itself. I should also mention that each lathe cut service will give you their own length limit per side. One groove handles up to 4 minutes per side on 7-inch, 18 minutes per side on 12-inch. Overall, 5.5 out of 10 for one groove. I don't recommend them unless you care more about the price than anything else. Now let's move on to Little Elephant. Service, 5 stars. I had great correspondence with them. When I uploaded the artwork, I realized the next day that I'd gotten the front and back cover reversed, and they were nice enough to replace it. Price, 2 stars. $73 for a 7-inch, $90 for a 12-inch, for single pressings with full color labels and jackets. That was the most expensive 7-inch among the 3 services. Artwork, 3 stars. So here is a pressing from Little Elephant. The label print quality was nice. Oh yeah, let's start with the label. The print quality is nice, though it's a sticker, and it's a little coming up on one of the edges here. I tried pressing it down, but over time it comes back up, so not the best. As for the jacket itself, that was really cool that it also has glued edges and a spine that's perfectly aligned, but has kind of a cheap printed look. I don't know if it's obvious from here, probably not, but you can kind of see the printer lines on it. And I tried pressing it together for a while, but it really bows out by its own, so that might also stick out in your collection. Audio, 3 stars. They had to make the audio really quiet in order to prevent distortion and skipping, but this also means you have a high noise floor when you make the volume high enough. Not to mention an unpleasant loud surprise when you switch to another record. The stereo reproduction was fine though. Here's a recording of the original audio I submitted to them and a recording of the record.
In the 16th summer, I revived on the phantom dream. In the 16th summer, it was something they had never seen. In the 16th summer, I was piling down the breaking ground, embracing every artifact I found. I decomposed and packed my clothes, but in the end, I was home again.
In terms of audio length, Little Elephant handles up to 4.5 minutes per side on a 7-inch and 21 minutes per side on a 12-inch. Overall score, 6.5 out of 10. Much better quality than one groove, but it'll still stick out in your record collection as something homemade. Now last but not least, tangible formats. Service, I also give that 5 stars. I had great correspondence with them, they were friendly, and they even let me make a last minute change to the audio. Price, I give them 3 stars, $50 for a 7-inch, $90 for a 12-inch, for single pressings with full color labels and jackets. Artwork, 4 stars. The label is actually superior to mass-produced records. Not only does it look like a real label on a professional record, but it's one step better because the labels are perfectly aligned front to back. It's a nice touch. For the jacket, the only drawback here is that the 7-inch jacket is a foldover just like Little Elephant, right? The print quality though is perfect. It looks like a real jacket on a professional record. The 12-inch jacket can even have the proper spine with its own artwork just like Little Elephant. Audio, 4 stars. The lowest noise floor and the cleanest, least distorted sound, with one caveat. It's aggressively pan center, though not completely mono, to prevent skipping and phasing issues as stated in their website. That was the one biggest letdown, poor stereo reproduction. The other 2 services had truer stereo, but maybe that's why they were also noisy or quiet. It does say on Tangible Format's website that you'll get phasing issues with wide stereo on low frequencies. but this is still way better than the actual mono, and everything else about the sound was great, hence keeping it at 4 stars. Here's a recording of the original audio I submitted to them, and here's a recording of the record. In terms of audio length, Tangible Formats handles up to 4 minutes per side on 7-inch, 22 minutes per side on 12. Overall score, 8 out of 10. This was the only record of the 3 that looks and sounds like everything else in my record collection, unless you're listening with headphones and comparing to the original recording. And the winner, Tangible Formats. I like them so much that I had the rest of my music pressed to vinyl as well. Now to note, there are potentially other services out there that I hadn't considered. These are just the ones that I knew about through online searches last year. That's it for this video. I hope this helped you decide whether or not to use lathe cut vinyl and how to consider what service to use. Bye for now.